Well, you can be seated. Well, it's great to be on the hilltop today, isn't it? Well, we've been looking forward to making this announcement for several days, and good afternoon, and it is indeed a great day to be at SMU. I'm Brad Cheeves and privileged to serve as Vice President for Development and External Affairs here at the university. And before we get started, and before you hear from a very important guest, I'd like to introduce to you some individuals who join me here on stage. If you'd hold your applause till all have been introduced. Our President, President R. Gerald Turner, Chairman of our Board of Trustees, David Miller, SMU Director of Athletics, Rick Hart, and the person we are here to welcome to campus today, Coach Andy Enfield. We're also privileged to have several members of SMU's governing board, our Board of Trustees, and I'm going to ask that these individuals stand or wave in place. In addition to Chairman Miller, Mike Boone, Mike, if you'd stand, Richie Butler, Carl Sewell, Richard Ware, and any other trustees I haven't been made aware of. And Michael Harris, our Chairman of Faculty Senate. Any others? And past trustee and benefactor Gary Weber, who's with us today. Let's welcome all these folks. There's Gary. And a great family joins an SMU family, and we are so privileged to have Coach Enfield's family. Wife Amanda, if you'd stand, Isla, Lily, and son Markham, right over here. Let's welcome the family. Also here today, and so excited to have all of you, but it's always important as this is the leader of our student athletes, our Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Elizabeth Laboa, and the First Lady of SMU, Gail Turner. If the two of you would stand, and we'd welcome you. Please join me in welcoming to the microphone the President of SMU, Dr. R. Gerald Turner.
Thank you, Brad, and thank all of you for being here. This is a tremendous day on the hilltop. We have gotten the opportunity to talk again about how we redid Moody, how David and so many of you and Carolyn were involved with not only this facility, but redoing that. And as I told Amanda, it's amazing what $54 million can do to an old building. And it certainly is now going to shine in many, many ways during all the basketball seasons. Many of you have been involved with our ACC fundraising efforts, and many of you have made sure that we have the opportunity to build our athletic programs to the extent that we can, and certainly this is a great time to celebrate all of you and all that you've done to help us bring about this. September the 1st till today has been a short time, but a time that's been full of a lot of activities, to say the least. Rick Hart and David Miller and I went to Los Angeles about 10 days ago. Best way to travel there is on Air Miller. And we certainly appreciated David getting us out there and our opportunity to meet the Enfields in their home and to have the opportunity to visit with them and get to know them and for them to get to know us. And obviously we were extremely delighted to have the opportunity to visit with them and get more of information about their family. And obviously we wanted to make sure that they would feel good about coming to Dallas, because from the very beginning of our change here, of the movement we were making, Andy Enfield was the guy that we wanted. And it was just a matter of time to work a number of things out and also to convince them that that needed to happen. And so the person who's helped coordinate this search and also obviously heading up our ACC effort is the chair of the Board of Trustees, former basketball player here at SMU, David Miller.
Thank you, President Turner. I'm sure most all of you, like me, were glued to the TV this past weekend watching March Madness. in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. It's been almost 60 years since SMU last advanced to that level with the great teams led by Bob Beggert, Denny Holman, Charlie Beasley, Bob, Denny, or either of you in the crowd? Anyway, all right. I was in high school, by the way. But great time for SMU basketball coach and the legendary coach Doc Hayes. Andy Enfield has been a head basketball coach for just 13 years, and he's already led his teams there twice. Most recently, 3 years ago, when he took USC to the Elite 8 and just one game away from the Final Four. And by the way, I think there are 354 Division I college basketball teams. So that's rarefied air, and he's done it twice. We've been to the NCAA tournament just 2 times in the past 40 years, and he's been there 6 times in just over a decade or so. He's had numerous top 10 recruiting classes in the country, and he's put 9 players in the NBA in the last 7 years. That's accurate? Okay. I could go on, but suffice it to say that this guy is a big-time college basketball coach. And I couldn't be more confident about the future of SMU basketball with Andy Enfield at the helm. I'm going to share with you a little insight into how this happened. I love to tell stories. I'm not very good at it, but I'll share with you a little bit about how this came together. The first step, of course, in the process is to hire a search firm. And then you've got to get someone that's wired in college basketball circles. A guy named Oliver Luck, who you've all heard of before, strongly recommended that we reach out to Chad Chatlos. Chad, by the way, played at the Naval Academy and a former Navy SEAL. So the first question we asked him was, how is this job going to be perceived? His response was, SMU, A+. Dallas, Texas, A+. Recruiting hotbed for basketball talent, A+. Your perceived commitment to a high level of athletic success, A+. ACC, A+++++. And then he added, I think there are as many as 8 to 10 successful power conference coaches that could be interested in the job. So we're off to a pretty good start. So the next question was, can you give us a sense for who some of them might be? And the first name out of his mouth somewhat blew me away, Andy Enfield at USC. Literally from that point forward, as Dr. Turner just mentioned, our singular focus was Coach Enfield. I coincidentally had the opportunity, thanks to Ed Wilson. Ed, are you here? Anyway, Ed Wilson, who invited me to play golf at Bel Air Country Club several years ago, and I sat in a golf cart with this guy for 4 hours. And I vividly, we had just launched our our Power Conference initiative, and I vividly remember thinking, okay, if we could get that done, we got to go after him. And so here we are. I'll also share with you, and I think you'll find this interesting, that some other very high-profile coaches reached out to us during this process, as reported in the media. But again, we were convinced that Coach Enfield's the right guy to lead us into the ACC. And here he is again. Think about, again, you watched it this past weekend, so you've got the Sweet 16, Elite 8. 3 of the 8 teams in the Elite 8 came from the ACC. The Big 12 had none. So when we got the invitation to join the ACC, I referred to it as the preeminent basketball conference in America, and I think that was proved this weekend. But as Dr. Turner said, a big thanks to all of you for being here today. This university's future has never been brighter thanks to your faithful support. And I'll turn it over to Rick to formally introduce Andy and his family. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Want to introduce and recognize a couple special guests here. I know I saw Toyelle Wilson at the reception. I know they're recruiting, but I don't know if Toyelle's still here or not, our women's basketball head coach. Oh, yeah, just saw Sam Erger. Sam, our head volleyball coach. Didn't see others yet. I know Coach Lashley has a baseball game, his boys. Grant Chin, sorry, Grant, missed you earlier, men's tennis. I also want to recognize our student athletes. I see a few of them here, there. I saw TK somewhere in LSO. We got some men's basketball, women's basketball student athletes that I see here. I want to thank you guys for being here today and recognize you as well. And then just for fun, if you're a former men's basketball player, stand up or raise your hand if you're already standing, please. Let's recognize our former men's basketball players. I also want to thank Lauren Adee, who's the Director of Basketball Operations for the next couple days. Other duties as assigned, Lauren, so thanks for that. You know, SMU to the ACC, we've talked about it, and it's not just a slogan, it is a game changer in every way. And, you know, many of you in the room and elsewhere, it was referenced, have supported this effort and invested in it in a significant way, starting with our first week society, the Circle of Champions, our ACC champions, our Mustang Club members and board, and we appreciate that very much. We're not standing here today, nor will we be able to announce the new head coach of SMU basketball today without your support and your investments. I also want to thank the leadership of our collectives, the Boulevard and Pony Up DTX collectives, for their role in helping us build and maintain strong rosters and competitive rosters. Obviously, the Board of Trustees, including Chair Miller and Dr. Turner. You know, our support is commensurate with the expectations we have for our program. And one of the exciting things, one of the many exciting things about talking to Andy about this opportunity is he shares the high expectations we have for our program, and he embraces that. And not only does he share it and embrace it, but as David alluded to, he's done it. And he's done it at a school like ours, in a city like ours, and in a conference like the one we're headed to. And so we're really excited about that and this opportunity ahead of us as we move into the ACC. We also want to just invite others to be game changers. We need continued support. We've got to broaden the support base. We've got to continue to challenge people to get involved, whether that's buying a ticket or making a donation or bringing a friend. And so please help us do that. We want Ford Stadium to be filled starting August 24th. Well, 24th is on the road. 31st, August 31st, and Moody Coliseum as well. We've got an unbelievable schedule. You've seen the basketball slate. Moody Magic's back. It's going to be pumping. And we want to recognize the Enfield family again. I also want to recognize Carol. Amanda's mom is with us today. So, Carol, we're glad you're here from Oklahoma. And we want to say happy birthday to Isla. I'm not going to sing. I won't make everybody sing and embarrass you too much, but happy birthday, Isla. 18 years old today, Isla Enfield. So at this time, if you'll please help me in welcoming the next head basketball coach at SMU, Andy Enfield. Andy.
That's for you. All right?
Yeah. So smaller than a football jersey, but it'll work.
Great.
How about this, too? ACC.
All right, thanks. Well, thank you. Amazing hospitality. Thanks all for coming. Texas is a great place. What wonderful people. That's the first thing that I've known. I've only been here a day and a half. Our family loves it, and so thank you very much. I am honored to be here, to be the next basketball coach at SMU. I have a great job. Get to work with student athletes. I see a few here, some of the players. We met with them today individually. And I'm here because of you. I'm here because of all the former players we coached, the student athletes at the previous stops I've been in my coaching career. And that's our job, every day to wake up and try to motivate, mentor, coach, make them better players, value education. We had a 100% graduation rate in 11 years at USC and 2 years at Florida Gulf Coast. My two parents, Bill and Barb, are school teachers. We value education, and to have a chance to be the head basketball coach at one of the finest universities in America, SMU, is an incredible honor for me. And I want to thank the players that came here today. This is all about you guys. You are the reason that I coach every day, and the reason that all these people are in here. We want to have tremendous success at Moody Coliseum and get this SMU community and the Dallas community back and fill this place up. And so I want to thank all the players here. This is about you. Also, people say, well, coaching's a tough business. It is. This is a very, very hard lifestyle. It's very demanding. It's very rewarding. There are a lot of highs and lows, and you don't do this alone. You do it with your staff. You do it with your community on campus, your academic support, your compliance, your administration, and everybody else that's part of a campus community. You also do it with your family. And to have my family live in Manhattan Beach, California for 11 years, they've grown up there, and to come to a new area, it's a special time. They love this place already, so I want to thank you, Amanda and my three children, our three children. What a great place to come to, but it is tough to pick up and change. But we are so excited to be here. These gentlemen behind me, David, President Turner, Rick Hart, the energy and the excitement that they have shown, just speaking to them, meeting with them over the last few days, it's incredible. The vision that they have. When I walked in here yesterday, and I met a lot of people today, the incredible support and energy and the commitment to winning here and to go to the ACC, wow. That's what drew me to this job. Just the ACC, I grew up an ACC fan in Pennsylvania, southern Pennsylvania, close to the Maryland border in Shippensburg, PA. I grew up dreaming about playing in the ACC. Wasn't quite good enough to play in the ACC. And then when I got into coaching, I said, wow, wouldn't it be great to be an assistant coach in the ACC? I started my career in the NBA as an assistant coach with a few teams and had the opportunity to go with Leonard Hamilton at Florida State to be an assistant coach in the ACC for 5 years. Wow. And then when I became a head coach at Florida Gulf Coast University, I said, my dream would be one day to be a head coach in the ACC. And now I'm here. So this is a dream come true for me. To have what SMU, to be at a premier institution, university as SMU, to go into premier basketball conference in the nation, what a dream. So I want to thank you for making this happen, and thank you for helping me be here today.
So at this time, we're going to take questions for Coach Enfield. If there are questions for other platform committee people, we can take those afterward off to the side. But this is about Coach and that opportunity, and it's my privilege to call on Stephen Hawkins from the AP, and it's good to have you back on campus. Stephen?
Andy, obviously, we talk about the wanting to have success here, but talk about the challenge of not only trying to do that at a school, but do it at a school that's moving up into such an prestigious conference, and you know what that challenge is going to be like.
Well, I learned when I was at Florida State from one of the best, Coach Leonard Hamilton, how to build a program. You have to have great people working with you, and the staff is extremely important. You have to recruit talented players and develop them, and then have a great energy and positivity around your program to keep getting better. And you try to get there and then sustain it. At Florida Gulf Coast, very fortunate to have a tremendous staff and talented players, and we're able to go to Sweet 16 very quickly, and then went out to Southern California to USC. And when we were there, we were last in the Pac-12 our first 2 seasons. That was before the transfer portal. Our first recruiting class, we're still in high school, and so it took a little longer to build a program. But that first group of young men came in and just transformed USC basketball. And then once we were able to make the NCAA tournament in the third year and the fourth year and on, and then it was we tried to sustain the success. And sustain the success, you have to have great players and keep getting them and developing them. And so very proud of our players at the last stop because we had great support from administration. Carol Folt's a wonderful president. I had great athletic directors and Pat Hayden and Mike Bone, Carol, Jen Cohen, who's there now, Lynn Swan, had a lot. And to sustain the success was very challenging. That is part of the reason I'm standing here today, because listening to these gentlemen about the vision, the commitment, the excitement, the energy about SMU basketball in the future, that we need to build this program and then sustain it. And I think the city of Dallas is going to get around our team, pack Moody Coliseum, and this SMU community, it's going to be incredible. So that is our goal, to build it first and then sustain it and make this city proud.
So if there's other members of the media, if you'd take the microphone and identify yourself to Coach.
Coach Mike Leslie from WFAA, one of the TV stations here in Dallas. Welcome to town. What was the sales pitch like that you received from the power brokers that are sitting there with you on the dais? What was that like, and what did you learn about the commitment to athletics here at SMU that made you decide to leave another power conference program and come here to Dallas?
Well, I think that what sold me was we were talking about our family and how difficult it was to move. Isla's graduating. Lily's in 10th grade, a sophomore, plays beach volleyball, and our son Markham is in 6th grade. And Lily, they found out Lily's a beach volleyball player, and President Turner immediately got on his phone and started looking up high schools to see what beach programs and what club team. And I said, President Turner, you don't need to do that right now. We can worry about that. And he spent 10 minutes trying to pulling up different high schools and private schools, public schools, beach programs, and that was really cool because that meant he cared. And we'll find some sand around here somewhere. But as far as the selling points, look, we were very happy at USC. Had a lot of great teams and great players. It's always very difficult to leave. That's the hardest part in our business, to leave. Been 11 years, and we've had a great run. Sustained the success, and my personal belief is, hey, let's go do it one more time. Let's go try to do this one more time as a head coach, as a family, hire a great staff, develop these players, and try to do it one more time in a place that wants to be great. And that's what we kept hearing from the gentleman behind me is SMU is ready to go to the next level, go to a power conference, and they want to be great. And what we've done academically and athletically, I think really fits this university, and we're so excited to be here.
So that concludes it. I think we have one other.
Sure.
Okay.
If Coach is willing, yeah. Coach Billy Embody with On3 Sports. You look at the ACC and obviously the success they're having in March Madness right now, and you had an up-close look at that with Florida State. What are the traits that you want to bring to this SMU program and the traits that you see in successful ACC teams that might be different than some of these other leagues out here?
Well, any power conference has great players, great coaches. I think the ACC is unique with the history of a lot of these programs that have had success in the past. And SMU has a lot of tradition as well. So maybe not on a national scale basketball-wise because they haven't been in a power conference for 30 years or so. And so it's time. This school, I think, is ready. This university is ready to get there and ready to be there and compete at the highest level. What type of players? We love players that defend. The last 4 years before this year, we had the #1 field goal percent defense in the country over the last 4 seasons at 38.5%. And so defense is number one. We do try to play an up-tempo offensive style. That helps when you have shot blocking, you have deflection steals, because that helps you get out in transition. So we really like to do that as much as possible. We have We prefer to spread the court and play an NBA-style system, but play a team game. And we, as coaches, always try to realize what we have talent-wise, what the strengths and weaknesses on our team, and then really cater to the strengths of our team every season. And whether that's you're better at the guard spot, the forwards, the bigs, and hopefully you have a good mix of all three. But we know the challenges to go in the ACC. There's some outstanding programs and great players. And as I said, I met with our team today individually. We have some really good players here at SMU that are ready to take next step. And if we have to go recruit a few to fill the remaining scholarships in the transfer portal, we will do that. But we're just looking for the challenge. So I just want to put a product on the floor that everybody in here in this SMU community is proud to go watch. It'll be very, very exciting. And we're ready to go.
So with that, I do want to mention Paul Rasmussen, one of our trustees, the Right Reverends here, and served as team chaplain for several years. Thank you, Paul, for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great future ahead of us. Pony up and welcome Coach and his family.